Holly getting Backlash, and Sioux has a book coming out on her experience on Dance Moms. Tell me your thoughts down below, guys.
Sioux from Dance Moms released her memoir, Bottom of the Pyramid, and I see people blaming her mother, Holly, for everything Nia has ever dealt with at the Abby Lee studio. Even Kelly from Dance Moms was like, oh, well, Holly, if Nia was having such a bad time, why didn't you just leave the studio? I just feel like if we're talking about Holly and Nia's experience at Abby Lee's studio, a conversation about Holly's choice to keep her daughter there requires so much nuance. Literally the other day, I was with my mom. I'm cleaning out the basement. We're looking at old photo albums, and I'm looking at pictures of myself in a ballet class, and I'm the only black girl in the room. I had a conversation with my mom, and I'm like, why do you feel like that was the case? And she says, well, around this time, early 2000s, I'm not that much older than Nia. My mom is like, peak gentrification in the neighborhood. They're pushing out the black and brown parents. A lot of the parents didn't have the money to send their kids to ballet class, but my mom was privileged enough to have the money to send me to ballet class. And she just had to send me there knowing that I was going to be the only black child in the room and knowing that that could potentially cause problems for me. Holly makes a lot of money. Holly is a doctor. Holly probably lives in a neighborhood that is filled with people who do not look like her. She still wants to send her child to ballet class. She sends her child to dance. The child is the only child in the room who is black. If you ask me, almost all of the bad treatment that Nia received was because of her race. That's debatable, but that's how I feel. I truly think that her dance teacher looked down on her. Now, despite all of that, I still don't blame Holly for leaving her child there, continuing with the program, because if we as black women left every single room that was filled with people who disrespected us or looked down on us, we would never leave our houses. We just have to push through that shit. Our children have to push through that shit. Unfortunately, that's our reality. Holly was not blind to what was going on, but she also knew that no matter where they went, there were going to be issues. Holly knew that her baby enjoyed being at that studio. And as crazy as it sounds, I think almost all those girls for a good while enjoyed being at that studio. They loved dancing. And I think, crazy enough, they loved Abby. So I just feel like you guys just have to give Holly a lot of grace. Because not only do black women, expect to be disrespected all the time, this was early 2000s when disrespect was a lot more normalized than it is now. You would never see an episode where a black child was dressed up like somebody named Laquifa today, but you're damn sure we're going to see it in early 2000s.
I just finished Nia's book, and I just want to say thank you so much, Nia, for sharing your voice and experience with us. I want to apologize on behalf of me or anyone else who ever questioned you and your mom for staying on the show for a long time. It didn't even occur to me until after I read your book that this was a form of resistance. A form of resistance that wasn't just within the Dance Moms show, but has literally happened over the course of history. Like, I'm sure the parents of, the black students who were in integrated schools were criticized for, why would you put your child in that dangerous situation? But guess what? It affected history. I'm sure people were like, why were MLK and the other black protesters sacrificing their lives to yada, 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 to change history? So I think that it is not our place to question Nia or Holly. First, because it's not our experience, and second, because it was a form of resistance. And regardless, I feel like it's none of our business because she's sharing her experience and voice with us, and it's our job to listen, not critique.
Nia, I love you, girl, but your mother was the problem. Your mother was putting fame, recognition, validation, attention, and acceptance over your emotional mental health. Let's be real. Holly always talked about, actually she didn't always talk about, but she would hint that she could definitely afford Abby Lee Miller. She spent $100,000 a year on school and education alone for her kids. So you're telling me that she couldn't have invested in a good lawyer to be able to break out of those contracts and leave? Again, I love Nia, and I love Holly. I like Holly a lot, but I'm not going to dismiss the fact that Holly really enjoyed hanging out with them white ladies, okay? She really enjoyed it. She loved it. She loved the tea. She loved the cattiness. And she even loved the attention that she was getting.
Can someone tell me why we are villainizing Dr. Holly? I've been seeing a lot of context of people saying that Dr. Holly prioritized fame and fortune over Nia's well-being. As a Dance Moms connoisseur who has seen that show 3-4 times back to front, I can tell you that couldn't be further from the truth. There's no denying that Nia went through a lot of trauma on the show, but Holly was one of her biggest advocates. It just seems like people are rewriting history, because to me, Holly was almost always the voice of reason. And if anything, Holly was always advocating for Nia to be treated fairly in an environment that obviously was never built for her. If you've watched that show, you know she had opportunities taken away from her. She was never picked first in anything, and she was always at the bottom. I don't know, maybe we didn't watch the right show, but you guys tell me, do you guys really think Holly was the problem here?
I know Dr. Holly made a video clapping back, and everyone has clearly changed their tune. I'm not going to, because I still think that as a parent, when her kid tells her, like, this is something I want to do, because she has acknowledged this before and said, like, Nia wanted to do it, so that's why I stayed. That was a good moment to turn it into a learning lesson of, you don't have to try and prove yourself to anybody, and you don't have to try and fit into white spaces where you're not respected. There are other communities, multiple communities, that will accept you for who you are, will try and boost you up, and won't see you as, like, okay, like, we don't even have to worry about her. Like, when it's her and some other kid competing over a solo, and they're like, I know my kids, yeah, like, that's terrible. That's awful. And I don't think that people are deflecting by acknowledging the role that her mother played. I don't think that's deflection. I think that's just holding someone accountable. And yes, you can hold someone as educated and as likable as Dr. Holly accountable, because the truth of the matter is that everyone makes mistakes. Parents aren't perfect, and that's okay. It's okay to admit that, like, all right, maybe I fucked up. It's fine.
Hi everyone, just wanted to hop on here and let you know I still am around. I'm quiet because this is Nia's moment to shine, but I see you and I see what you're doing. Some of you are being manipulative by trying to deflect the issue onto me. The issue's not me. This is Nia's story. Bottom of the pyramid is her story. Do not invalidate her experience by trying to shift the blame on her mother. Shame on you. You should be embarrassed. That is such an ignorant low blow, and it's so inaccurate. This is about someone who did not do their job. No one was hired to be evil or cruel. So let's get something clear. I'm grown. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe anyone anything. And guess what? Nia's grown too. She doesn't have to ask anyone for permission to do anything. But what she wanted to do was share her story, because so many people have had questions. So many people have been touched by her experiences, and she wanted to share because she knows other people can identify and relate, and she's not alone. But what we're not going to do is manipulate the truth and a narrative to fit your own agenda because you don't want to hold certain people accountable. That is something we're not going to do. So in case you forgot, I take my keys from my kids. I've been silent. I don't need dance moms. I don't need to talk about it. As you can see, I very rarely ever talk about it. This is Nia's story, but I have to come out every now and then just to remind, we're not going to take advantage and do my kid wrong. That we're not going to do. Not without me saying something. So for those of you who have supported her, have bought the book, I thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that support. I see you. I hear you. Those stories mean a lot. And for those of you who want to regurgitate information that's taken out of context or listen to people who have not even read the book, because some of you who are talking, I know you haven't read the book because I know you. So instead of talking about my kid, instead of talking about a book you haven't read, why don't you support her? Support her for the 7 seasons that she gave on a show that changed pop culture phenomenon that we all love. And stop jumping to conclusions. But what we're not going to do is talk about my parenting, because I have 3 fantastic kids. I know how to parent. I also know I know how to teach. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for supporting Nia. And please continue to buy Bottom of the Pyramid.